the neck of the jerseys, a white stripe down the side of the shorts where an SPC interlocking logo sits on the left thigh. All black kicks for the Peahens. Referee for this quarterfinal game is Mike Schmidt. The umpires are Joe Barisi and John Levinson. Kate Oliver's gone to the center circle for Marist. She will be opposed by Janae Judson of St. Peter's. Big advantage for Marist at the jump. Oliver 6'4", Judson 5'10", but with athleticism, she can jump out of the gym. We're ready for basketball in the quarterfinal round. The draw is, believe it or not, won by Judson using that leaping ability, knocking it off to the left, and Jessica Coles. The Peahens have it first, traveling from right to left across the Webster Bank Arena. At Harbor Yard, Judson in the high post, far side of the lane. Works herself down low, takes a shot off the window, no good from 5 feet. Rebound tied up in the center of the lane between Gang and Coles, and an alternating possession. Marist gets it.
And I do have a feeling today, Jeff, that Judson is going to get the ball a lot. I think St. Peter's is going to really try to bang it inside to her because of the fact she's on a momentum right now.
Yeah, she had 20 points and 10 rebounds in St. Peter's game yesterday against Ryder. Marist attacks the basket to the right. Allensbach inside to Oliver, and Oliver finishes. Just like we talked about in the Open, Jules, find the Aussie down low because Kate is hot in the paint.
And she has a huge size advantage to anybody on the Peahens, and she sealed off her defender very well.
2-0 Marist as Judson misfires on a foul line jumper on the other end, but the long rebound goes to Managrasso, and the Peahens get another look. Between the circles, May passes off to Cole's left wing. Drives in on Oliver, but stops 19 feet away. Passes back to Managrasso, top of the key, 15 to shoot. Here's Morris out high now. Managrasso right of the circles. Managrasso dribbles left to the top of the key. Hedged by Gang, forces her wide. Throws it down low, looking for Morris, but it's deflected away by Oliver, taken away by Yard, and Marist forces the turnover. St. Peter's committed 23 of them in their game against Ryder yesterday. They will cough up the rock. Yard right of the lane. Jumper from 9 feet. It doesn't fall. And Aziza May has got the rebound for St. Peter's. Pace is quick early. May, top of the key, now drives into the lane on Karan. Looking for Judson right of the paint. She finds her on the baseline. Judson from 9 feet out. Charges in on Allensbach. Down to the block. Her shot is good. Nice take by Judson to tie up the game at 2.
Judson has a very nice turnaround jumper, and that is one thing. When she gets put up against a guard like Allensbach, she's got the size advantage, and she just used that very well.
Allensbach, far side of the floor, pass to Oliver near wing. Now Gang cuts down low. Oliver finds her, the finish and the foul.
And those the inside presence of the posts in this game is going to be so important for Marist. Just like that. Brandy Gang is very quick, makes good cuts to the hoop, and she just got right in front of the defense.
And one for Gang. St. Peter's makes one change, getting Lauren Morris out. That personal foul was charged to Jessica Coles. First on Coles and first on the Peahens. Morris is out, replaced on the floor by Kiana Porter. St. Peter's gets some size out there. Porter, 6'2" junior from Elizabeth, New Jersey. Gang's free throw's good. 5-2 Marist with 18 minutes to go in the first half. St. Peter's basketball between the rings. Porter now Coles on the near side wing. To Managrasso out high. Karan glued to Managrasso. Gives it up to Judson. 3 far side. No good. And Coriel Yard has the rebound for Marist. Yard to Allensbach left wing. Ball fakes a 3 on May. Skip pass to Karan near side. Now here's Oliver top of the key. Porter right on Oliver, who's gotten it going thus far. Yard left sideline. Dribbles to the wing. Now the top of the key into the lane. Pass out to Gang in the high post. Gang moves to the right block. Shot off the window. No good. And there for the rebound is Kiana Porter from the Peahens.
But Marist is moving the ball really well right now and getting good shots.
Quick trigger in transition by May. Her top of the key jumper doesn't fall from inside the arc. And Marist comes away with the rebound. Karan left of the paint. Shovels off to Allensbach right wing. Allensbach jumps to the top of the key, hands to Yard. Free for 3, but she left it short. Offensive rebound by Brandy Gang. A new timer for Marist. She kicks out to Karan. Now Yard left side. Drives in on Managrasso. Spins down to the block. Back pass to the high post and Oliver, who's off the mark on a jumper from 16 feet. And there for the rebound is Jessica Coles. 5-2 Marist, 16:50 to go in the first half.
And one thing to remember is that when Marist played St. Peter's last, they started out the game very, very slow.
The first 4 minutes were all St. Peter's. They were up 7-2 at one point before Marist went on a 24-0 run and eventually opened up a mammoth 40-point lead. St. Peter's basketball here. Managrasso on a drive through the lane, gets underneath, and her shot is blocked away by Kate Oliver. The 5'8 Managrasso had no chance against the 6'4 Oliver, but then in transition, Marist gets sloppy. Karan throws it away, looking for Allensbach. The Foxes' turnover gives it right back to the Peahens.
And right now, Marist a little bit too close together on the offensive end, trying to find each other, but they're bunched up too much. They need to spread the floor out.
And they don't look in sync early. Marist hasn't played a game in 5 days, but that's a regular layoff for the Foxes. Now, granted, they didn't get a chance to do as much scouting as they normally do before a game, simply because Marist didn't know who they were going to play until yesterday, but the offense seems out of sync here early in the first half. Managrasso steps back at the free throw line on a jumper for St. Peter's. She left the shot well short, perhaps partially blocked by Allensbach as Karan pulls it out of the air, just glanced off the front of the rim. Allensbach off to the right for the Foxes. Passes left to Leanne Ockenden at the top of the key. She misses on a triple try, and then the rebound is picked up by Managrasso. Ockenden checked in at the last stop for Coriel Yard.
And it's going to be very important to rebound the basketball today as well, Jeff, because St. Peter's does battle on the boards.
St. Peter's struggling to rebound despite their intensity. They're -5 in rebounding margin this year. And here's Ockenden making something happen, getting a steal. One-on-one the other way against Managrasso. She misses the layup. And then Managrasso grabs the rebound. Long lead ahead to May. May drives in on Karan. Bounce pass left to the box, Judson. Baseline drive on Allensbach underneath. Stops, triple team comes. Able to work a shot up, but she missed it. And then the rebound is controlled by Ockenden along the far sideline. 5-2 Marist, 15-15 to go in the first half. Ockenden spots up top of the key. Three-pointer, no good. Gang with the offensive rebound. Second chance, short. And then Jessica Coles pulls it off the rim for the Peahens. Offense is at a premium early.
And St. Peter's is leaving Marist shooters like Leanne Ockenden wide open in that transition place. But Marist is just not hitting shots at the moment.
May between the rings for the Peahens. Passes left to Coles on the near wing. Gang on Coles in the Marist man. Coles just holding the basketball at her hip. Now passes across the floor to May, far side wing. May drives to the high post on Ockenden. Kicks out to Managrasso, top of the key. Porter inside, one-on-one with Oliver. She's stuffed, and the shot clock horn sounds, but Marist got the rebound anyhow. Foxes with the basketball.
A ton of standing around by St. Peter's. They're not moving the ball well, and Marist is taking advantage of that.
Karan drives the left post, gets to the tin, misses the layup, and the basketball's out of bounds off Oliver, who couldn't rebound it clean. Foxes have missed a bunch of layups in the first 5 minutes. Coach Georges is going to try and focus his offense during this official timeout. 14:25 to go in the first half. Marist 5, St. Peter's 2. You're listening to Marist Women's Basketball on GoRedFoxes.com.
Lola's Cafe and Gourmet Takeout on Washington Street, Poughkeepsie specializes in uniquely created specialty sandwiches, homemade soups, and gourmet salads. They're open Monday through Friday from 7 to 4, serving breakfast and lunch. Lola's is also the area's premier off-premise catering company with a staff of culinary-trained chefs and event planners. Let Lola's take all of the stress out of having your next party. Lola's, Washington Street in Poughkeepsie.
My husband John and I dreamed of building a hospital to be able to provide the best animal care in our area. Sadly, John passed away the week the hospital opened. I realized this was going to be his legacy, and this was now my responsibility.
Hudson Highlands Veterinary Medical Group was able to complete their dream by partnering with the right bank.
MAAC was there for me. I got the advice that I needed, and now the business is moving forward. I know John would be thankful to MAAC National Bank.
MAAC National Bank, locally focused, a world of possibilities. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Back in Bridgeport, Marist leading St. Peter's 5-2 with 14:25 to go in the first half. Jeff Brault alongside Julianne Viani. And Jules, you were telling me during the break that this is a tough gym to shoot in. Why is that?
It is, and I've talked about this before, but it's all about the depth perception. Some players really like shooting in gyms like this, and some don't. Now, when I was playing here, I shot well at times, but at times I didn't. And it just takes some adjustment, I think, for players. I don't know why, but I feel like Marist has always shot a little bit better in Albany, and it could be because they've played there more often than here. But, yes, it's not always easy for a team to shoot well with all this depth perception.
Yeah, Marist didn't shoot well here when they played Fairfield in a 2-point victory earlier this season. That was the closest any MAAC team got to Marist. And you're right, for whatever reason, they just do not like the Webster Bank Arena at Harbor Yard, to the tune of the fact that Marist was shooting 2 of 11 to open the game, 0 of 3 from distance. But their defense, their saving grace, 1 of 9, what the Peahens are shooting, and they've missed their only 3-point attempt.
And the Peahens really struggle to score. I mean, that is like their MO, really, is that they don't score very well. So I do think that is important. Defense is always what carries Marist, and that's what they're doing right now.
I mean, heck, let's face it. If Marist doesn't score another point for the rest of the game, but doesn't let St. Peter's score, they win by 3.
Exactly.
That's the benefit of a defense like Marist. First in the nation, the only school in the country allowing less than 50 points per game. Peahens with the ball coming out of the under-16 timeout. It's May off to the right now. Cole's top of the key. Here's Amina Davis on the floor for the first time. Davis left wing. Davis crossover dribble on Akin into the foul line. Stops her bounce and travels. So a turnover on Davis, the player from Pleasantville, New Jersey, who averages 4 points, 2 rebounds per game. And now Marist has it. Foxes going with a lineup of Best, Allensbach, Yard, Bainan, and Laterza. Christine Best, junior from Colmac, New York, running the point. Maria Laterza in for Kate Oliver at the center position, senior from Brooklyn, as Allensbach drives right baseline and lays it in for the Foxes. Kelsey Bainan, the other new face out there, sophomore from Burlington, Vermont, who is very versatile, and we expect to have a big role in this game. St. Peter's goes quickly inside to Kiana Porter on the left end. She misses her first shot, gets her own rebound, and scores on the second chance. So now the offense is picking up, Jules. 7-4 Marist, 13:30 left, opening half.
But that offensive rebounding is what a lot of times the garbage points is what St. Peter's relies on to score, and that's what they just did.
Best penetrates to the foul line for Marist. Down low to Bainan, kicks to Yard near wing. Now Yard drives in. Lefty layup is good from the right block. Nice fall-away layup by Yard as the Foxes are in sync.
And what they're realizing right now is that the baseline penetration is wide open. St. Peter's does not rotate correctly on the defensive end, so baseline penetration will be huge.
Marist up 5, Peahen ball. Davis off to the right, the junior working on Yard. Tries to take Yard on the dribble, gets to 12 feet, pops a shot, no good. And Maria Laterza there for the rebound. That's what Laterza brings off the bench. 4 rebounds a game from the Pine. Best to Yard, open left corner, the 3 off the mark. Rebound bounces out long. It eludes Yard's grasp, is tapped away by Janae Judson, and then picked up by Aziza May. So May, dribbling with it for the Peahens at the top of the key, passes to Judson, right elbow. Judson slowing the pace for St. Peter's. Penetrates to 12 feet. The leaner, ugly. It hit the net, but not the rim as it goes out of bounds and back to Marist.
And again, St. Peter's just not moving at all on the offensive end. They're making it so easy for Marist to play them in the half-court defense.
I'll check what I said. It must have looked ugly because it was partially blocked. Again, Jules and I are up off the floor. Hard to see the fingertip block by Marist because St. Peter's keeps it. Aziza May, top of the key. May guarded by Best. Drives in with the left hand. Stops 12 feet out. Finds Porter left block. Jumper from 4 feet. No. Rebound tapped by Best. She's able to corral it. And the basketball's with the Foxes, moving left to right. Best to Allensbach, long range left side. Allensbach dribbles right to the top of the key. Stops her bounce, finds Best near wing. Now it's Yard in the corner. Yard pulls down a 3 in the face of Judson. Passes inside to Bainan. Bainan with the catch. The turnaround shot. No. Rebound goes to St. Peter's. And the Peahens have it. 9-4 Marist. 11:50 to go in the first. May at the foul line for the Peahens. Moves back outside the arc to 25 feet straight on. Now Davis has it right wing. Bounce pass around Yard to the low post and Porter. Steps back on Laterza and now leans in. Shot no. But Porter was fouled, so she will go to the line.
Maria Laterza got caught behind Porter on that defensive stop, and Porter just turnaround jumper, and Maria fouled her. It was a very good offensive play.
First on Laterza, first on Marist. We've got a timeout on the floor. 11:40 to go in the first half. Marist 9, St. Peter's 4. You're listening to Marist Women's Basketball on GoRedFoxes.com.
Verizon Wireless has 5 times more 3G coverage than the nation's number 2 wireless carrier. 5 times. So you can browse the web, keep track of your social networking sites, and download music and apps on the go, all at 3G speeds. Hey, don't settle for spotty 3G coverage. Before you pick a phone, pick a network. America's largest and most reliable 3G network. Switch today at any Verizon Wireless communication store or VerizonWireless.com. Coverage details at VerizonWireless.com.
Have you heard about the great new coffee house in Poughkeepsie? It's called the Crafted Cup, a totally independently, locally owned tea and coffee house. They have a huge selection of tea from Harney & Sons in Millerton. Their coffee is roasted by J.B. Peel in Red Hook. They serve fresh baked goods in the Hudson Valley from Bread Alone, Wild Heart Farm Bakery, Fernasco Bakery, and cupcakes from the Groovy Baker. It's a cool, comfortable place to meet or just hang out. There's free Wi-Fi and lots of board games, even Battleship. The best part is the baristas will make your drink the way you want it. Yep, the baristas make the drink, not the machine. You've tried the rest. They'll try the best coffee in Poughkeepsie.
Welcome back to the Webster Bank Arena at Harbor Yard in the 2011 MAAC Basketball Championships presented by Spark Energy. Marist leads St. Peter's in this quarterfinal round on the left side of the bracket by the score of 9-4 with 11:40 to go in the first half. She's Julianne Viani. I'm Jeff Brault. The winner of this game awaits the victor of the contest to follow between number 4, Siena, and number 5, Fairfield. So that's what's coming up next. But right now, Kiana Porter at the free throw line for St. Peter's. At least she will be when the Peahens finally decide to break their timeout huddle. Marist just standing around ready to go with Best, Yard, Allen Spock, Bainan, and Laterza out there. The Peahens taking every allotted second of these extended media breaks because of all the broadcast mediums here for the tournament.
And one thing Coach Georges has always been like is he never, ever, ever, ever keeps the girls too long on the bench. For as long as I can remember, we were always out on the floor before the other team, and it's just funny because he just says what he needs to say, and then they're out on the floor, and it's just so funny because as a former player, I've always had people comment on that. Yeah. You guys are out on the floor so fast. Yeah. There's just not a lot that he says to you, huh? And it's like, well, no, he just tells us, and then we get on the court, ready to go.
we also hear a lot that Coach Georges spends so much time sitting on the bench during the game, which is rare for a head coach. But he says, I can get up and shout at the officials, but I don't think it's going to matter.
Right.
Porter makes her first of 2 free throws as St. Peter's is finally ready to get back at it. Jules Marist, they made 2 of their first 11 shots, now 2 of their last 4, as Coach Georges seems to have figured out the offensive issues. Porter making free throw number 2. This Marist team, they're not great offensively. They're a very good offensive team and a stellar defensive team. They will go through scoring droughts.
They're just very solid. And then when they go through scoring, they go on runs. Yep. It's really funny, but they go on droughts and then runs.
But it's the defense that always there. St. Peter's just 2 of 14 from the floor. And now Marist gets it going from beyond the arc. Allen Spock sticks a 3 straight away. The Peahens are packing it in defensively, leaving the perimeter open, and Allen Spock makes him pay. He's got 5, 12-6. Marist leads with 11-11 left in the first. Make a wish.
That's true, and Marist is rotating the basketball very well right now.
Lauren Morris has it for St. Peter's, right of the box, finds Judson down on the block, and Judson's unable to finish from 4 feet out. Laterza with the rebound, outlet to Allen Spock, who races far sideline. Cross-court pass to Yard right of the lane. Yard moves back outside the arc to the corner, now the wing. Puts up the 3 and missed it. She left it short, and Lauren Morris comes away with the rebound for St. Peter's. Morris to Aziza May. Kiana Porter, Janae Judson, and Amina Davis also out there. Davis off to the right, holding the ball at her chest against Yard. Now a dribble to the top of the key. She reverses back left, gets by Yard, but Laterza with help defense blocks away a shot from in close, and Allen Spock picks it up. Ahead to Yard, now Bainan right block. Bainan kicks to Best far corner. Best to Allen Spock, top of the key. 3-ball, count it.
Great ball movement by Marist. They are just moving the ball so well right now, finding the open player, even when it doesn't look pretty. They're finding the person, and Erica just ready to shoot the rock.
Foxes have found the formula, taking a 9-point lead at 15-6 with 10:17 to go in the first half. That forces Steph DeWolf, Jules, to take time out. This is how quickly Marist can go from playing average offensively to playing stellar offensive basketball. It comes in waves.
And this is because Marist has both an inside and an outside game. And as soon as St. Peter's packs it in because they don't want Marist scoring from the inside, then Marist starts hitting shots from the perimeter. You really can't. It's like they have to pick their poison against them because Marist can shoot from the perimeter. You can't leave them open from 3, and this is kind of what happened last time they played them. They just tried all kinds of things, and they could not stop them because they're versatile in every way.
And Jules, a big part of why Marist is so good at scoring not only inside-outside, but also outside-in, is their passing. The Foxes just always seem to make the precision pass and the tough pass. This team is, for the length of the season, in every single release of the national rankings, has led the country in fewest turnovers per game at 10.5 per, and that's why they can go on these long runs. They don't give up possessions.
And what makes a good player is to make the extra pass.
St. Peter's into Porter on the other end. Porter kicks out to Davis far wing. She misses a foot on the line, too. Offensive rebound by Judson. Back up strong, but she traveled to gain position in traffic. So that's the St. Peter's turnover, and Marist has the basketball. Karan back on for the Foxes. So is Kate Oliver and Brandy Gang. Coriel Yard and Kelsey Bainan remain on the hardwood. Karan left of the rings, moves between the circles, now 35 feet away, passes up to the top of the arc, and Oliver. Oliver back to Karan, far wing. Bounce pass inside to Yard. One-on-one with May. The shot, no good. Offensive rebound by Oliver. Shot down the well.
Right now, the rebounding is just tremendous. It's very lopsided. Marist is out-rebounding St. Peter's and getting a lot of second and third chance shot opportunities.
17-6. Marist leads. 9:27 to go in the first half. Off to the right, Samina Davis. Now at the top of the key, Janae Judson. Judson, ISO against Oliver. Drives into 8 feet. Shot good, but wave it off. Offensive foul on Janae Judson. That's the first on Janae and the second on St. Peter's. The Marist defense, again, stout.
A really nice job, and that was all because Elise Caron planted her feet, and she does that every game. She averages about 1 or 2 per game. I mean, I really love the way she just plants herself, and she just falls over and really acts it out.
Katie Sheehan won the league's Defensive Player of the Year from Loyola, second in the country in steals as St. Peter's tips a pass out of bounds. Basketball sticks with Marist. You know, Katie Sheehan won the Defensive Player of the Year award. In my opinion, it should have gone to Elise Caron. Her numbers aren't as good. She's not second in the country in steals or blocks or anything like that, but when you watch Caron play every game, as we have, Jules, she is amazing on the defensive end, what she can do.
She's a total gnat for opponents. I mean, she's all over the floor on defense, and I agree with you, Jeff. She's really phenomenal on the defensive end.
Oliver misses a quick shot in close for Marist. Then Managrasso has a long jumper swatted by Bainan and picked up by Yard. Now back to Bainan, who lays it in running the floor. So Marist, after missing a shot on the inbounds, makes a great defensive play. Then some nice passing leads to an easy deuce on the right end. Fox is 19, St. Peter's 6. 8:40 to go in the first half. Marist pulling away.
The defense is always leading them to the offense in the transition game.
Managrasso passes into Porter. She's tied up with like 5 Marist players, everybody on Porter. The jump ball arrow keeps it with the Peahens, 15 to shoot. Ockenden back in, replacing Yard. We expect Georges to keep going to his bench frequently. He's done it throughout the length of the first half up to this point, and we just expect wave after wave, player after player, coming off the floor, onto the bench, and vice versa all game long. He ends with 15 seconds to work with. Inbounds goes to Judson, who drives right post, misses a pull-up jumper 5 feet out, and Elise Caron there for the rebound. Caron passes to Ockenden, open near wing, triple try is off the mark, missed it to the right, and Managrasso with the rebound for the Foxes. Marist is on a 10-2 run. They've got a 19-6 lead with 18:10 to go in the first half.
And Marist is really moving the ball well, and they're getting a lot of shots, not just from the perimeter, but inside too. They're getting shots everywhere. St. Peter's is just not covering them very well right now.
Jessica Cole's left wing finds Managrasso in the high post, who steps back outside the arc, top of the key. Pass inside to Porter, blocked by Oliver. Marist playing a wonderful defensive half. Ahead to Caron, now Bainan underneath, falls down, and we have a whistle. Bainan dribbled the basketball on the baseline. It goes back to the Peahens when we come back. 7:48 to go in the first half. The Foxes have found the formula. Marist 19, St. Peter's 6. You're listening to Marist Women's Basketball in the MAAC Basketball Championships on GoRedFoxes.com.
You wouldn't want your favorite sports team to only play offense or only defense. So when it comes to insurance, why settle for someone that can handle only your auto policy? Bring your home and auto insurance to Allstate now, and you can save big on both. You deserve someone that can assist you more. That's Allstate's stand. Are you in good hands? Hey, sports fans, call Allstate agent and Marist alum Tony Nicholas at 845-471-9611 today. Subject to availability and qualifications, Allstate Insurance Company, Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company, and Allstate Indemnity Company, Northbrook, Illinois.
JTR Transportation, charter buses for any occasion. Let our 33, 47, and 55 passenger luxury motor coaches take you across town or across the country. Whether you have 30 people or 300 people, the travel professionals at JTR Transportation can move your group in comfort and style. To charter a bus, call 1-800-433-7444. That's 1-800-433-7444. JTR Transportation is the official motor coach company for Marist Athletics.
The Marist Red Foxes have used a 10-2 run over the last 3 minutes of play to take a 19-6 lead over the St. Peter's Peahens with 7 minutes and 48 seconds to go in this third of 4 quarterfinal games in the 2011 Spark Energy MAAC Basketball Championship. She's Julianne Viani. I'm Jeff Brawl. Jules, Marist led by Player of the Year Erica Allensbach, 8 points on 3 of 3 shooting from the floor, including 2 of 2 from distance. As Allensbach got into rhythm, Marist got into rhythm, and they're led by their all-star.
And that's not a surprise because Erica Allensbach has led the team the entire year in every single category. She just is the engine to this group. And honestly, she steps it up come MAAC tournament time, come NCAA tournament time. She knows how to rise to the occasion, and she's not a player that ever overlooks a team. I can attest to that because I played with her for 2 years, and she's just a great player.
Shocker. Marist, the first team to break huddle. Karan, Ockenden, Allensbach, Gang, and Oliver out there on the hardwood. We got to highlight what Kate Oliver's been able to do. 4 points, 2 rebounds on 2 of 4 shooting, but already 3 blocks for Oliver, whose low post defense, Jules, has been just as important as her offensive emergence over the last few games.
She's been giving opponents fits down low because she really does have long arms. She's a lot taller than her opponents, and I think that she's really utilizing that.
You know, Kate started almost every game of her career. It's easy to forget that she's just a sophomore, and you would think has more growing to do, still learning how to play the center position here in America with the rectangular lane instead of the trapezoid like back in Australia. It could be scary how good she can become.
She's definitely an excellent player.
Peahens get a quick triple by Jessica Coles on the right wing after the under-8 timeout. Coles, just the second 3 she's hit all year and only the 4th she's attempted, but it works. 19-9 Marist. They lead by 10 with 7:12 to go in the first half. Karan to Oliver. Now it's Allensbach, center of the lane. Kick the Gang. Open left wing 3 is money. Boy, the Marist ball movement, Jules, is leading to wide open shots.
Those ball reversals are what's absolutely key, and they're finding the open player. They're making that extra pass, and the PNs are giving it to them, so they're taking it.
So Gang answers Coles, and the Marist lead jumps back to 13. Coles, top of the key for the PNs, finds Managrasso near wing. Triple try, no good in the face of Ockenden. And Karan with the rebound for red and white. Elise races over half court. Karan to Ockenden, open near wing, back to Karan, top of the key. Now Allensbach straight away. Here's Oliver inside. Left the layup short. Just didn't know where she was on the floor underneath the hoop. And the rebounds controlled by Lauren Morris and St. Peter's. Ahead to Managrasso, right wing, drives in on Ockenden, who slips, and Managrasso is able to lay it in. Ockenden got her ankles broken. Nice crossover by Managrasso.
Now there's a little bit of a mismatch because Managrasso's a little bit quicker than Ockenden, so I wouldn't be surprised if she tries to take her more often.
22-11 Marist. They've got the basketball. 6 minutes and 5 seconds left in the first half. Ockenden passes left to Gang, far wing, now in the corner. Karan underneath Allensbach, and Allensbach got fouled on the floor. This will be just the 3rd foul against the Peahens in the first half. That is rare. That's very few for them as Managrasso picks up her first. St. Peter's, Jules, a team that averages 22 fouls per game, but this has been a clean half.
And in their first meeting against Marist, they were in the double bonus before the half was even over. And you remember that game; it was a little bit messy at times,
there
for
was
sure.
7 minutes left, and Marist was already shooting 2 inbounds underneath to Oliver. Turnaround shot from 4 feet, no. But Marist with the rebound. It's out to Karan, top of the key. Karan dribbling around on May, top of the arc. Now it's Gang, left side to Allensbach down in the block. Step back jumper, no good. Another offensive rebound by Yard. Kick to Gang, Oliver right short corner. She misses on the jumper. And now finally St. Peter's is able to get the basketball back. Coles, left corner. Foot on the line, 2, good. Jessica Coles heating up from the perimeter. A 45% shooter overall. She can do that as the Peahens draw within 9. 22-13 Marist. 5:23 left in the first half as we've got a whistle. With Marist setting up in transition, there's a foul coming on the Peahens away from the ball. Charge it to Aziza May. That's May's first and the team's 4th. 1 Marist change. Kate Oliver departs. Maria Laterza takes her place. Marist has already used 9 players in the first half. Contrast that to St. Peter's that has used just 7.
And that's obviously going to help them in the long run because they're going to have more legs than all the other teams in the MAAC conference right now.
St. Peter's has a short bench. They've only got 9 dressed for the tournament. Yard out high for the Foxes to Allensbach, far corner. Gets her man out of the way, and then sticks a 3. Her 3rd of the half. Managrasso bit hard on a ball fake, and that left Allensbach wide open for the triple. She's the first player in double figures today with 11. 5 minutes to go in the half. Marist up 25-13, and they force a turnover. Gang tips away an entry pass to get the steal. Yard runs the floor to the top of the key. Now into the lane, goes to the rack, and gets fouled on the way up.
A nice penetration by Yard. And one thing that Marist can do in this game is take it at St. Peter's because St. Peter's, like we said, is very likely to foul. That's just what they do. And so eventually they're going to foul you.
Lauren Morris did the fouling there, her first, team's 5th. Karan is out for Marist, replaced by Christine Best. Managrasso departs for St. Peter's. Managrasso is replaced on the hardwood by Khadijah Young. Our first look at Young, 5'2" freshman from Shaker Heights, Ohio. Gang misfires on a 3 from the near wing on the restart. And then we've got a whistle and a foul on Marist after Jessica Coles got the rebound. It's on Laterza. 2 on Maria Laterza. It's just the second on Marist in the half. Laterza's done all of Marist fouling. And in a rare move, Coach George is going to leave Maria out there. Off to the right, Samina Davis. Davis dumps it into the corner and Lauren Morris. Morris passes to Coles right of the circles. Now left of the rings, it's Young. Here's Davis in the near corner. Moves back to the wing, finds Morris right side. Morris drives in on the baseline. Pass center of the lane, Kiana Porter, whose shot is good off the window. That was the best offensive possession we've seen St. Peter's have in this game.
You stole the words out of my mouth. They have not done that. They have not penetrated and pitched to the open man, and that time it was nice interior passing.
Marist up 10 with the ball. 4 minutes left in the first half. Yard at the top of the arc for the Foxes. Passes left to Christine Best, far wing. Best dribbles to the top of the key, spins back to the far wing, gets it to Gang straight away. Now Yard near side. Yard holds the ball at her knees with 4 to shoot. Drives in, takes a shot from 5 feet out. She missed it. And the rebound is controlled by St. Peter's, Khadijah Young.
If St. Peter's could find a way to really move the ball and limit turnovers, they would not be a bad offensive team, but that's the one thing that they really are lacking this year is scoring ability.
Young off to the right for St. Peter's. Long 3 is off the mark. Coriel Yard bumped as she tried to get the rebound. The over-the-back foul's on Amina Davis. That's the first on Davis, the 6th on the Peahens. Marist will start the offense when we come back. 3:31 to go in the first half. Marist leads St. Peter's 25-15. You're listening to Marist Women's Basketball on GoRedFoxes.com, or perhaps you're watching it on MACSports.com.
Time to pick your communications bundle. What'll it be, Gary?
Door number 2?
That's phone and internet service for 1,000 people.
But there's only 20 of us.
Oh, thanks for playing.
What?
Don't play games with your business communications. Choose Time Warner Cable Business Class.
Get internet and phone for $34.95 each per month. Call 1-877-769-2935. New customers only. 2-year agreement required. Includes up to 10 meg by 384 of internet.
Time Warner Cable serviceable areas only. Products and services not available in all areas. Some restrictions may apply.
Lola's Cafe and Gourmet Takeout on Washington Street, Poughkeepsie specializes in uniquely created specialty sandwiches, homemade soups, and gourmet salads. They're open Monday through Friday from 7 to 4, serving breakfast and lunch. Lola's is also the area's premier off-premise catering company with a staff of culinary-trained chefs and event planners. Let Lola's take all of the stress out of having your next party. Lola's, Washington Street in Poughkeepsie.
Marist 25, St. Peter's 15. That's the score with 3 minutes and 31 seconds left in the first half this afternoon in the quarterfinal round of the 2011 Spark Energy MAAC Basketball Championship. She's Julianne Biani. I'm Jeff Brault. And what we're witnessing and what you're listening to is Marist playing stellar defense. Jules, in 13 halves of MAAC basketball this year, Marist has held the opposition under 20 points. A fantastic statistic. It goes to underscore the fact that this is the best defense in the country statistically, and they are proving that today.
They do just play solid overall defense. They play that team-oriented style, and I know that Coach Georges has a different way of doing it, and that's why freshmen coming in at Marist a lot of times struggle for the first year acclimating to his type of defense, because it really is a little bit different. There's a lot of switching involved, a lot of different things that kind of play in, but he is a defensive coach, and he always has been for many, many years that I've known him. Defense wins games, and that's exactly why Marist is so successful.
Still 3.5 minutes to go in the first half, but stay tuned at the half for the Verizon Wireless halftime report. Julianne and I are going to check in on Mike Ferraro's live blog. He's sitting down on the baseline. We can see him down there. Hi, Mike. No, he's not looking. But we're going to check in on the blog, and if you've got any questions you want to ask Jules or I or anything you want to talk about, we're going to see what's going on the live blog. Get it on GoRedFoxes.com. Stick around. I'm sure Mike's got some crazy facts for you throughout this half. Marist with the basketball out of the under 4. On the floor is Emma O'Connor. O'Connor, the freshman from Long Island, out there for the first time. Yard looking for her in the low post, but St. Peter's fouls O'Connor before she, no foul, just tipped the pass out of bounds. So Marist will reset with 11 to shoot. Inbounds from Allensbach to Oliver, now Yard, top of the key. 8 to shoot now, Yard, making a move with the basketball, but she throws it away. Stolen by Khadijah Young. Young Passes to Judson at the foul line. Now back to Young near corner. Couldn't catch clean as she wanted the three. Instead gives up to Aziza May between the circles. May back to Young left wing. Now Judson in the corner. Judson passes back to Teresa Managrasso in the wing. Now top of the key, Young. Long three is no good. Too strong. Oliver hits the rebound off of out of bounds. So it stays with St. Peter's. They have a new timer.
Right now, Marist defense is forcing St. Peter's to take some really ugly shots from the perimeter. They're really chucking shots up from 5 feet behind the arc, which is not what St. Peter's does well.
Peahenge just 6 of 27 from the floor in this first half. Is a bad inbound stolen by Allen Spock. She's all alone on the right end of the floor, lays it in easily. Allen Spock pouring it on. 13 points on 5 of 6 shooting for Allen Spock. Marist as a team now at 35% from the floor as the Foxes open up a 27-15 lead with 2:28 to go in the first half. Managrasso off to the right for St. Peter's, passes into the corner and Judson. Now Porter on the block, tied up with Yard, and on the alternating possession, it goes back to the Foxes.
And what Marist is doing very well right now is that they're sending the double team into the post. They're not allowing the post player to even make a move, and that's why their defense right now is so successful.
Short shift for Emma O'Connor, who departs for Marist, replaced by Kelsey Bainan. One St. Peter's change, Kiana Porter comes out. Taking Porter's place is Lauren Morris. Right now for Marist, it's Best, Yard, Allen Spock, Bainan, and Oliver. For St. Peter's, they're going with May, Young, Managrasso, Morris, and Judson. We've got a delay in the action here, Jules, because the clock went off. The clock above the basket to the right is not working. It just turned off.
Yeah,
it's been working fine all tournament long, but it says, you know what? I'm a union clock. I'm taking my break. As we've got a delay to figure this out.
If you remember, we had this whole, we had to, talk for a while the clock went out at Marist. Maybe it's just following Marist. I don't know.
On senior day against Fairfield, the referee's quick timing system, the whistle, just didn't want to start or stop the clock. 3 times Marist and Fairfield dealt with a delay in the first half because of timing issues, and now Marist and St. Peter's are not so much dealing with a timing issue, but a technical issue. And, there's a number of things that they can do to fix this. One is nothing, but that probably won't happen. Usually you see schools will wheel out another clock, maybe sit it next to the basket or something if they can't restart it, get it to be fixed. This is Fairfield's home court, so their Assistant Sports Information Director, Chris O'Connor, is the man in the heat of the action. He's right under the basket, working it out with referee Mike Schmidt, trying to figure out what can be done. Now they've got the maintenance crew over there. The clock above the basket to the right, it's one of those triangular clocks that you can see time and shot clock left. It just has gone out. Every other clock in this arena seems to be on. The scoreboard is functioning overhead. It's got Marist up 27-15 with 2:21 to go in the first half. The clock over the basket to the left is working, which means, hey, maybe we should just play a half. No, they probably won't do that. But it'd be fun if they only played a half-court game the rest of the way.
I don't know if that's ever happened.
I don't know how legal that is. I think the Dr. Naismith and the rules of basketball would have something to say about that. But right now, we've got a delay toward the end of the first half here at the Webster Bank Arena at Harbor Yard because the clock above the basket to the right has shut off. That'll give Jules and myself some time to recap what's gone on in the first half. Jules' offense was at a premium early. There were only 7 total points in the first 5+ minutes. Marist led 5-2 at the under-16 timeout, but then they started to find the formula, making 2 of their next 4 shots, going on a 10-2 run between 11:40 and 7:48 to take a 19-6 lead. And really, ever since that time, Marist hasn't looked back. Offense has been touch and go, but the defense has been stellar throughout.
Yes, that defense is what has created a better offense. I mean, they always play that solid D, but their offense did turn on after a really sluggish first couple of minutes of the ball game. And sometimes that's what we talked about before. Marist tends to do. They go on those runs and then they go on droughts. But on defense, that is the name of the game for Marist, is their defense, because they just play so well at that end every game. It never lets up, and that's very important for a winning team. Now, 18th in the country, a team like that needs to maintain that defensive stamina.
A little cheer from the crowd as they get the clock working above the goal to the right. So we are ready to resume basketball. Marist has the rock, and they are just starting this possession. They've got a fresh 30 seconds. It's 27-15 Marist. Their 12-point advantage is just one off of their game-high lead. They've led by as many as 13 this afternoon. 2 minutes, 21 seconds left in the half. Best, Yard, Allen, Spock, Bainan, and Oliver out there for red and white. May, Managrasso, Morris, Young, and Judson counter for the Peahens. Lob from Yard inside to Oliver is off of Oliver's fingertips and out of bounds. So a broken, disjointed possession for Marist turns it right back to St. Peter's.
But definitely a good idea. Yard was looking into Oliver, who was wide open, but the pass was just a little bit too high.
St. Peter's ball. May at the foul line. Passes to Morris in the right elbow. Now in the near corner, Janae Judson, 15 to shoot. Judson dribbles out of the corner to the wing, finds Managrasso. Managrasso working on Bainan. Passes right between the circles to Khadijah Young. 7 to shoot. Peahens got to hurry. Lauren Morris out high, drives to the foul line. Takes a shot that is ugly and got fouled. Well, the Marist fans in attendance don't like it. That was a really ugly-looking shot by Morris, who almost did a soccer-style throw-in, dipped the ball behind her head, just threw it toward the hoop, and got fouled in the process. Charge it to Kate Oliver. First on Oliver, just the third on Marist.
And the fans were not too happy about that call. I could not tell from here, but if it was truly a foul, it was not a very good foul, because you don't want to foul somebody that's that far away from the basket.
Lauren Morris is unable to connect on her first free throw. She's got another coming, a 70% shooter. It's up. And no good. She missed them both, but Judson with the rebound for St. Peter's. Then Karan swats it away from her, but Morris is able to grab it off the deck. Peahens with the rock. A minute 30 to go in the half. Foxes continue to lead by 12. Off to the right, it's Teresa Managrasso. Bounce pass inside to Morris, who kicks to May, top of the key. Now Young, free for three left wing, but she missed it. And Kelsey Bainan has the rebound for the Foxes. Bainan to Karan as Marist slowing things down. Karan dribbling with the right hand, shaded to the right side of the floor, passes to Bess near wing, but Bess can't hold on to the ball. She lost it out of bounds, and it goes back to St. Peter's. A few too many turnovers for Marist now, Jules, 2 in the last 2 minutes.
And that was an unforced error, because there was nobody on Christine Bess. She just had butterfingers at that moment, which happens at times, obviously, as players. And you've got to just remember that things like that do happen, but that's not something that Marist wants to continue on for the rest of the game, obviously.
Teresa Managrasso, far wing, skip pass to Aziza May on the right side of the floor. May back to Managrasso out high, who swings it to Morris near corner, 10 to shoot. Bounce pass inside Judson. Judson works through traffic. Ugly shot, never gets to the rim. And Elise Karan catches it. 42 seconds to go in the half. 27-15 Marist. Karan handling at the point. Passes back to Allen Spock. Long three. Got it again. Allen Spock on fire. 16 first half points on 4 of 4 shooting from beyond the arc and 6 of 7 overall. The player of the year feeling it in her final MAAC basketball championship. Another timeout called by St. Peter's.
And a really nice penetration and pitch by Elise Caron. And I think that is just so important as a point guard. You've got to try to get your shooters open. And right now, that's what she just did. And Erica is just feeling it, obviously setting her feet, ready to play in this tournament. I mean, she's coming out and she's making a statement. I'm the player of the year. I'm ready to play. You better guard me, because I'm going to nail threes in your face. And that's what she's doing right now.
We saw Allen Spock, Jules, start to heat up toward the end of the season, you know, from her already stellar play. She's really been shooting about 50% from the floor ever since the Las Vegas tournament, and that mark goes from shots beyond the arc as well. You know, after she scored 30 points against Houston in the Las Vegas tournament, it's been all Allen Spock for Marist, who can will herself to another gear when she has to. She hasn't really had to this afternoon, but this is win-or-go-home basketball, and Allen Spock wants a nice long stay here in the Nutmeg State.
And in my opinion, you know, as a player, obviously, it's more fun when you have to turn it up a notch. And so she just revels in that. When it's a big game, high-pressure game, she shows her strength as a player and comes up big. It's just something that happens in a competitor's spirit. You just rise up to the occasion. Not everybody can do that, but she's one player that can.
2-second differential between the game clock and shot clock for St. Peter's. 10 seconds left in the half. Judson left elbow. Judson working on Allen. Spot gets her up in the air, drives to 8 feet. Shot, no. 3 seconds left in the half. Judson with the rebound, just chucks it to the rim. It doesn't get to the tin, and that is how the half expires. Marist 30, St. Peter's 15. The Foxes have doubled up the opposition through 20 minutes of basketball. Jules and I are going to step aside. When we come back, we'll have first half analysis and also check in on the live blog on GoRedFoxes.com. Any questions, anything you want us to answer, go ahead. Send it to Mike Farrell on the live blog. We're following. We see you. We'll talk about it next. You're listening to Marist Women's Basketball on GoRedFoxes.com.
The tradition-rich Hudson Valley is known as much for its fine cuisine as for its scenic views and historic landmarks. Christo's Restaurant has long been part of this tradition, offering continental cuisine for lunch and dinner. Christo's on Wilbur Boulevard next to the McCann Golf Course also specializes in catering to make your next event truly special. For information, log on to ChristosCatering.com. Christos, proud of its long-standing relationship with Marist College and its athletic department. For reservations, call 471-3400.
Did you know that Anaconda Sports is one of the largest team sales dealers of athletic equipment and apparel in the country? Located right here in the Hudson Valley, Anaconda Sports specializes in team sales and promises not to be undersold. For your next sporting goods purchase, contact Anaconda's Poughkeepsie location at 471-2701 or their Kingston location at 336-4024. Anaconda Sports, a proud sponsor of Marist Athletics.
I choose kayak lessons.
We choose soccer camp and pee-wee hockey. I choose to golf as much as possible.
With TriVantage, a completely new kind of health plan from MVP Healthcare, you get up to $600 for fun and fitness to spend any way you choose.
I choose snowboard lessons.
I choose shiatsu massage.
We choose bowling with the whole family. $600 to use any way we choose.
That's why I choose TriVantage from MVP.
In addition to the $600 for fun and fitness, TriVantage has other great features.
I choose.
I choose to see specialists without referrals, to see doctors anywhere in the country,
to speak with real people for answers and advice.
Discover the many reasons to choose TriVantage.
I choose how to live well.
I choose TriVantage
from MVP.
Employers, get an instant quote on TriVantage and all of our new wellness-focused personal choice plans. Go to MVPquote.com.
It's halftime at the Webster Bank Arena at Harbor Yard in Bridgeport, Connecticut, the site of the 2011 Spark Energy MAAC Basketball Championships.